Trevor Linden is the president of hockey ops for the Vancouver Canucks and joins us. Hello, Trevor. How are you?
Hey, guys. Good. How are you?
Good. I want to clarify. I don't want to misrepresent anything you've said. So you have a new coach. Are you in a rebuild? Did you say that?
I think that I was making an effort to appease the people. Obviously, we've been forthright in saying we've been transitioning this team and obviously to a younger group, and that was becoming a bit of a sticking point with some people. So to get alignment with our fans and our media, I used the rebuild word today, which everyone can get their head around. So, we're obviously excited with, some of our young players, and we have a lot of work in front of us. But if that word makes everyone happier, then I'm more than happy to use it.
Well, let me try this on you, Trevor. It's my theory, and I think Bob agrees with me, that in the NHL today with the salary cap system and the way free agencies worked out, et cetera, you either have to be fish or foul. You either got to be contending or way out of contending so you can get access to the best players that can help you be a contender, because that's the only way to get them these days. What's your theory on that?
Well, there's definitely some truth to that. I mean, having said that, I feel we drafted a pretty good player at 23 a couple years ago in Brock Besser.
Sure did.
Be part of our core group moving forward. So certainly it's our belief that it's not only the first round where you draft good players, but this year we've got 6 picks in the top 120 potentially, and we've got to do a good job throughout the whole draft, and so, but there's no question. I mean, if you're picking near the top, you're going to have a better chance, and I think that at the same time we want to have some veteran presence around those young players. I think that's vitally important, that they have the support, so that they come in, they're supported by guys who are veterans and understand the habits and the professionalism that goes along with that.
The draft lottery goes on Saturday. You guys have a pretty high chance or percentage to win it. Nolan Patrick is the player everybody's talking about, but do you believe there's a franchise player in this draft similar to the last 2 or 3 years?
Well, it's interesting that we're talking about that today, and I think that last year was the first year of the lottery in its new kind of format, and I think that you're going to see more of what we saw last year. I think there's this perception that if you finish in a certain spot, that's where you're going to wind up, and it's actually the reverse. I mean, we got a better chance of finishing. I think our chances of finishing fourth are 40%, and we got a 12.5% of winning, and slightly, more than that is staying at 2. So I think the norm is going to be seeing some movement in that top group because the odds are just set up that way. And I think the other thing, like when you look at the last 2 years, pretty remarkable that we had the type of generational players that we've had. And when you think about the last, 30 years, you look at...
Yeah, not a whole lot of these guys out there.
Well, it's been Lemieux, it's been Crosby, it's been McDavid, and it's been Matthews. We had 2 of them in back-to-back years, which is crazy. Not to mention the guys that were, Laine's not bad, and, Jack Eichel's...
Yeah. They're all right, too.
It was a unique couple of years, and we're going to get a good player. We're going to pick from either first or through to fifth. We have a chance at any one of those spots, and we're going to get a good player. It's not to say the player we pick 4 or 5 isn't going to be just as good a pro or better than the top 2 guys if you go by Central's rankings. And those top 2 ranked guys might be more plug and play, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be the best pros 5, 6, 7 years down the road.
See, Bob, I think this is Vancouver's year. Do you know the Vancouver Canucks have never had the first pick in the NHL draft?
I did not know that.
Linden here was a number 2. Nedved was a number 2. I think Dale Talon, another one of our buddies, he was a number 2. Yeah. Never, Trevor, have the Vancouver Canucks have the first pick.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting stat, and we'll see how Saturday winds up. When you have ping pong balls bouncing around, you never know what's going to happen. So
I love to ask this question, Trevor, of GMs. For many years, and I've been around for many years, guys used to tell me you draft the best available talent. You say, well, you need this guy, you need that guy. And they all say, no, you draft the best available talent and figure it out later on.
It's a good answer, too.
It is. It's a good answer. It's a safe answer, and it's a non-committal answer.
Yeah.
Until you draft that guy. But Do you have that philosophy, or do you go into the draft saying, we need this and this? If we can't get this and this where we're at, then maybe we look at other options, which is trading.
I mean, I think there's rare commodities out there. I think that if you think about power play defensemen that are, that those are hard to come by. They can run a power play and be a true NHL power play defenseman. So there's certain specialties that are pretty rare. So there's always that. You talk to some guys that say, I'd only draft defensemen and centermen. Those are the most important positions, obviously, that make up the foundation of your team. So, I mean, it's an interesting game, the draft. Obviously, when you're talking about 18-year-old kids and figuring, projecting them where they're going to be in 2 or 3 years.
Well, we got a minute here.
Yeah, whoever you do draft, you got a new coach to coach them, Travis Green. I said, of a lot of the guys who I covered, he would have been one of my last guys I thought would have been a head coach in the NHL, and I think he said something like that today. What do you see in him? What do you think he can do for the Canucks?
I agree with you, Damien. I played with him in 1999.
Never would have thought, eh?
And I talked to Lauren Henning the other day, and we were laughing, thinking, not a chance. Right? I think in everyone's career, you get to a certain point, certainly later in your career, where you mature and grow up a little bit. We all start as kids, and you start to figure out the game and understand the game better and change. And I think Travis is an example of that, and put his time in with Mike Johnson down in Portland, learned a lot from Mike, and played for the great Al Arbour and, of course, Pat Quinn. And I think he's just really, he did a really good job in Utica for us, and I think he's just building that culture of excellence, and I think his preparation, and I think the biggest thing is just dealing with players in today's National Hockey League, and I think it's about building trust, building a foundation there, so when you challenge them or have to be hard on them, you've got a foundation of trust and a relationship that you got to be firm, but you also have to be fair, and it's a fine line to walk, I think, and I think Travis has done a good job of that, and we've worked with him the last 3 years and kind of seen the work as he's done. So for us, it was once we met with him for 3-4 days last week, it was the right thing to do, and he's the right guy for where we are in our where our group is right now.
We wish you good luck with the lottery, and to quote you, we wish you good luck with the rebuild. You are on record, Linden.
You're going to win, Trevor.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, pal. Trevor Linden, president of Hockey Ops for the Vancouver Canucks.
One of the good guys for a long time.
Yeah, he is.